Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
Compromise in Lansing. Billions of federal COVID relief dollars that have been tied up for months are closer to reaching schools and Michiganders who need some help.
Ford and General Motors jockeying for position in the electric vehicle race, and one of the automakers announcing plans for 2 new factories in the U.S.
A Macomb County man sits behind bars tonight after police say he shot another man and then tried to save him from dying. The shooting victim, the boyfriend of the shooter's daughter. And investigators think they know exactly what set that father off at the Prentice Point Apartments near Jefferson and Metro Parkway. Sean Lay live with everything we know at this hour. Sean.
Tragic and complicated facets to this case, guys. First and foremost, let's go with the victim here. The family of Jamar Pye tell me tonight, of course, they are devastated. So many things went wrong that maybe should not have happened here. It's a tragic case of first an assault last night, then early this morning, the girlfriend's father shooting and killing Pye. However, our Local 4 legal analyst Neil Rockine says there are elements here of a possible self-defense.
The father, who's now the accused, was attempting to render aid to the victim.
Local 4 legal analyst Neil Rockine breaking down a tragic shooting in Harrison Township that happened at 1 this morning, where Macomb Sheriff's investigators say a 66-year-old man shot Jamar Pye Sr. with a 9mm handgun at point-blank range. When deputies rushed to the Prentice Apartments, deputies say they found the 66-year-old doing chest compressions on Pye.
Most people who are desirous of having a criminal intent to cause somebody else harm don't attempt to render aid.
Here's what happened. Investigators say last night Pye allegedly assaulted his girlfriend. Police were not called. The couple went back to the apartments where the woman told her father, the 66-year-old gunman. Investigators say Pye and the father argued, and the father used deadly force. Neil Rockine, however, says there are elements here of self-defense to this tragedy.
As long as you reasonably believe that you're in danger of suffering serious injury or death, and you honestly believe it, even if it turns out later that you're wrong, you can claim self-defense.
Well, this case far from over. That 66-year-old, let's talk about him. He's being held in the Macomb County Jail tonight, being held without bond. However, charges have not been requested. The entire shooting remains under investigation. The sheriff's office points out the 66-year-old is a legal concealed carry pistol license owner. Now, one of Pye's friends from his church says this is all too much. They are absolutely heartbroken tonight. Back to you.
I understand that. All right, Sean.
Governor Whitmer and state lawmakers appear ready to strike a deal on spending federal money sent our way as part of the COVID recovery efforts. Without an agreement, billions of dollars could be sent back to Washington, which nobody wants to see happen. Local 4's Rod Maloney joins us live tonight. Rod, there's nothing like a deadline to get people to the table talking here.
Yeah, billions of dollars on a deadline can freeze that logjam in a heartbeat, and that's what happened. Now, a month ago, the governor and legislative leadership said, yeah, we can work something out. And yesterday, we saw the first vote that says, indeed, they can. Using supplemental budgets, the legislature is moving just under $7 billion through the state capitol. The Senate's proposal used $4.3 billion on COVID child recovery efforts, largely for K through 12 schools. A third of $1 billion remains unspent there, though. The House's supplemental covers just over $2 billion for things like child education recovery, food assistance, and eviction assistance. Today, the governor was happy to hear things are heating up.
It is largely for K-12, and that's why there is still more work to do in this particular space.
Republican State Representative Tom Clemens hails the supplementals passing, too.
I think the consensus is that we've arrived on a number that allows for yes votes and to get the money out.
This is really just the beginning. A full budget is supposed to be ready by July 1st. It won't be, though, because of COVID. And the governor and the legislature still have their own and often opposite funding priorities.
I think that's really good news for our state, and good news that we're going to start deploying these federal resources that we have had for months, and so finally getting to a point where we can get those deployed and for the uses for which they were intended, to help people.
The energy is positive as it relates to getting things done, working collectively to come up with numbers that not only solve problems, but also address a lot of the issues facing us both immediately and down the road.
So, quickly, the House takes up the Senate bill tomorrow. The Senate takes up the House bill. They're both likely to pass because the first readings were all unanimous. So the governor should get that bill probably early next week for signing. Reporting live, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
Rod, thank you. And with new cases and deaths continuing to slide, Governor Whitmer could ease the remaining COVID-19 restrictions sooner than expected. Today, the state reports 179 new cases in the last 24 hours, the lowest single-day total since last June. We've lost 4 Michiganders in the last day to the virus. On the vaccine front, 60.6% of people in the state have received at least 1 vaccine dose. During an appearance today in Grand Rapids, Governor Whitmer told Wood TV's Rick Albin that a rollback to COVID restrictions could happen early.
Our numbers are good, really good. Of course, we want it to be at 70%, and our vaccines, our work is still continuing. And we're trying to meet people where they are. That's not unique to Michigan. It's happening all across the country. But all these factors go into that, and I would anticipate whether it's MIOSHA or it is the next step in returning to normal, we'll probably have something to talk about in the coming days and make some announcements soon.
And under the governor's current plan, all broad COVID mandates are set to expire July 1st. That's 14 days from today.
Number of organizations making a serious case for reparations here in Detroit. Council leaders just approved a new resolution that will allow the city to explore potential options for this long talked about topic. Victor Williams has more on just how many Detroiters are signing on to this idea, and it seems to have momentum at the moment, Victor.
Lots of momentum, Devin. Take a look at this. This is just one of the sheets that's used to collect signatures for this petition. Notice there are only 12 slots. So if we wanted to show you all of the Detroiters that signed on to this, we'd be holding hundreds of these.
We never got our 40 acres and a mule. We should have continued what happened after 1865, and then we have all of those things that set us back, like Jim Crow.
Attorney Todd Perkins says so far enough people have signed on to have the vote for reparations appear on the upcoming November ballot.
What I understand the signature amount that's required, it was 3,608. We submitted, I believe, well over 3,700 signatures.
At this point, the signatures will have to be validated, but the groundwork is being done in a way that works hand in hand with a similar idea from Detroit City Council.
It is a call to say that we as a city would like to join the national movement regarding reparations.
City Council President Pro Tem Mary Sheffield says a historic resolution was just passed so that now the city can finally have an open discussion on what can be done.
We, as a predominantly black city, believe that so many of our families have been hurt, and we would like to begin to explore ways in which reparations could play out here in Detroit.
But some leaders in the black community, like pastor of 180 Church Lorenzo Sewell, believes a handout is exactly what this would be.
I believe that us as a people, we have enough within ourselves to do everything we need to do to pull ourselves up. I don't believe that we need a handout. Anytime you receive shekels, there come shackles.
And the resolution that was passed mainly focuses on reparations for America and our entire nation, but the ones with the signatures that I'm holding right here in my hand, this is mainly, according to Todd Perkins, something that's going to be for Detroiters specifically. As far as where the money is coming from, he's saying maybe we should dip into the marijuana money because a lot of those funds have yet to be allocated. Victor Williams, Local 4.
On it, all right, Victor.
The search continues in Flat Rock for a man wanted in the death of his wife. Police say Amos Lowe is considered a person of interest in the murder investigation. His wife was found dead in a home on Sheiks Boulevard near Gibraltar Road yesterday. Police want to question Lowe. If you know where he is, give them a call.
A year after sexual misconduct allegations regarding Dr. Robert Anderson went public, dozens of accusers gathered at the University of Michigan to urge the school's governing board to launch a full investigation into the alleged sexual abuse committed by Anderson. Former wrestler Tad DeLuca says the university now needs to take full responsibility, whatever the financial damage.
How do I sound this without sounding too flippant? That's their problem. I mean, they caused it repeatedly for decades. So any trouble they're in is their own fault. And they're trying to mitigate. They're trying to avoid that right now.
That was the scene early this morning. Now, this afternoon, the university came out with a statement reading, "The University of Michigan is actively engaged in a confidential court-guided mediation process with the survivors of Dr. Anderson's abuse, and we remain focused on that process." The WilmerHale investigation team had full access to all available information. They decided what to review and what to consider. Their report made it clear that many survivors required confidentiality as a condition for speaking.
President Biden and Russia's Vladimir Putin finally came face-to-face today for their high-stakes summit in Switzerland. The two world leaders met for 4 hours and talked about many things. President Biden said the tone of the talks were, quote, positive, and he told Putin that certain U.S. critical infrastructure should be off limits for cyber attacks. Putin described the summit as, quote, constructive, saying both countries will begin consultations on cybersecurity, and U.S. and Russian ambassadors will return to their diplomatic posts. They also spoke about Paul Whelan, the Novi man who was sentenced to 16 years in a Russian labor camp for alleged espionage. Whelan denies he's a spy. President Biden says he will follow up on the talks he had today about Whelan and another American detained in Russia. He promised he would not walk away from their cases.
I made it clear to President Putin that we'll continue to raise issues of fundamental human rights, because that's what we are. That's who we are. I raised the case of two wrongfully imprisoned American citizens, Paul Whelan and Trevor Reed.
For a closer look at what was discussed at the summit, stay tuned to NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. That is immediately following this broadcast at 6:30.
One of Detroit Metro Airport's two main terminals will soon have a new name, and it's that of the current Wayne County executive. The Airport Authority announcing today the North Terminal will be known as the Warren Evans Terminal. Evans served as Wayne County Sheriff before becoming county executive in 2015. Dedication ceremony will be held in spring of 2022, giving the Airport Authority time to phase out the old name.
Ahead here at 6, the personal health practice many people have put off during the pandemic and why it's so important to start it up again.
Let's check in with Ben.
Devin and Kimberly, heat starts to build tomorrow, but the biggest impact that we've got coming in the next 4 days is going to be Friday. Storms headed this way before the weekend, and we'll track them for you next.
All right, Ben. Also, General Motors announcing plans for 2 new American factories. We'll tell you about that next at 6.